There's a warmth to it. There's an energy to it. It's just phenomenal. The hopes and the dreams. I'll start with the passion. Like, there's a huge emotional part. The Watson family, very, very competitive. It's undoubtedly Sam.
Listeners, we have an Ask Sam Anything podcast for you today. I did a question and answer pod on my grassroots show with Sam, and we had so many questions come in that were grassroots related, but also about eventing and also just questions in general. So we thought we'd do a whole Ask Sam Anything series. Okay, so does EquiRatings also track team influence for competitions, not only just the individual influence? Do they also track team influence, i.e. like how each phase can vary in the team's performance at like Olympics or WEGs?
Good question. Phase influence is what we would measure with regards to is dressage, cross country, or show jumping, which is the major attribute. We're talking about, Kentucky not being as influential in the show jumping, Lamoulan not being as influential in the cross country. And we put a number around all of those things. So like the cross country influence at Lamoulan is below 20%. It's much less. That is based on the individual leaderboard. So that's how we would look at and normally a venue, like that phase influence tends to hold. So a venue like Blair would have for a 4-star long and a 4-star short, one of the most influential cross countries because of the hills and the time and the weather. It's Scotland. And that would hold through its 3-star and 2-star as well. So that is all individual, as you were saying. The nature of the course, basically, in terms of and that is like that. Those algorithms are all based on where do penalties accumulate. It does, by the way, depend on the dressage judges. So if you have the dressage judges at Burghley made the dressage more influential by giving Tim Price a 6 penalty head start, I want to say, because that gives that's like, imagine a cross country course where you've had loads of people getting close to the time, but then someone goes like 15 seconds inside, but they reward them. It makes everyone 15 seconds further behind or 6 penalties further behind. Whereas at Buccalow in 2023, I think Julia Krewski led just under a 25, and there were loads of people in around like 25, through to 27, 28. Like it was a much more condensed leaderboard at the top. So the phase influence does depend on the dressage judges as well. That doesn't change. The nature of dressage, cross country, and show jumping doesn't change whether it's a team competition or an individual competition. It doesn't change for the course. But what does change, and what is a real thing, which is not due to the course, but it's just due to how you win, is how you win individual medals is very different to how you win team medals. Individual medals, you've got to score, like we used to say sub 28, but for championships, it's now down around 25, sub 25. And the reality is that there are so many horses who cannot start sub 25. So they're not going to win. And the people who can, the Michael Youngs, the Laura Colletts, the Tim Prices, the Yaz Inghams, the Ros Cantors, one of them is going to finish very, very close to their dressage score, if not on it. So that's your winner. And you can narrow it down to a couple of people. Whereas now we have 2 team formats. We have 3 from 4, where you have a drop score, or you've got your 3 from 3 at the Olympics, which I think we've been fooled at Tokyo into it not being too disruptive. I think Paris, imagine if Bertoni was 3 from 3. Exactly.
Do you think that the cross country is going to be much more influential moving forwards if the Olympics stays as this 3 from 3 format?
3 from 3 puts a bigger emphasis on reliability. And this is what is going to save the sport of eventing. So why top countries don't like it is because a country like GB, where it's already hard enough to get into the team, if you're a British rider, when there were 5 in London and 4 in Rio, and now only 3 in Tokyo and Paris. It's just become so much harder to just get your place there. And it does dilute, for that reason, it can dilute the quality of who's at the Olympics. Because to be honest, if there were 20 British riders at the Olympic Games, it would be higher quality than spreading the flags around. But you need a bit of inclusivity, and it's our shop window. We're trying to invite people into the sport and turn it into a global sport. But actually what 3 from 3 really does, and what team sport really does, is it creates excitement without increasing risk. So what we love to see is a disruptive leaderboard on cross country. We like to see chopping and changing. We like to see drama. And that's what sport is all about. It's all about the drama. Now, if you try and do that on an individual level, you've got to push all the individuals out of their comfort zone. Take a clear rate of 80%. That would be really boring. If we saw a clear rate of 80% at a 5-star, that would be 8 out of 10 people going clear is quite repetitive and quite boring. But in a 3 from 3 format, 80% times 80% times 80% is actually 48%. So actually only half of the teams would go clear. So this idea of cumulative risk, we don't want 80% clear rates. We don't need to go that risk averse. We don't need to go that high, but in and around like a clear rate of the current average clear rate at 5-star is 55%. Like if you, even with a clear rate at 60, 65, maybe even 70%, you would be highly disruptive in a team competition if you produce those clear rates. And that creates drama and that creates excitement. And it really puts the emphasis on cross-country reliability, because that's cross-country is where the penalties are highest. I know that's stating the obvious, but that will. And I think that's how we're going to have to, I do think that's the future of the sport, because we want to remain exciting. We're just trying to also manage the pictures and manage the risk as well. I think 3 from 3 is the future.
Well, Sam, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your insight today. We really, really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Rosie. And thanks, everyone. Thanks, listeners. And we love listening to the feedback as well. Love reading the feedback, the thoughts. Very, very welcome to be challenged on things. The great Winston Churchill said, the person who doesn't change their mind is never going to change anything. So, it's good to have debate, and the sport needs it. So hopefully this has been enjoyable and useful.
Well, listeners, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to send them in either on the Discord group or message us on Instagram, Facebook. Send in your questions. We'd love to hear from you, and keep your eyes peeled to see what question comes next.
Hi, it's Sparkles Watson here. And my favourite foreign equine product is Kentucky Karen Oil. All of our horses have this in their feeds, from our 5-year-olds right through to the 5-star horses. It's amazing for their coats, they really gleam. It's great for their digestion and their immune system and their overall joint health as well. I think it's just a really great product, and they all eat it happily, and they just look in fantastic health.
Welcome to Quickfire Questions with Fairfax and Favour, where we will be putting some quickfire questions, as the name might suggest, to some of the best riders in the business. And today's guest is the Bicton 5-star winner, Gemma Tattersall. Gemma, are you ready?
I'm ready, Nicholas.
What was your favourite subject in school?
It has to be PE, because it's the only thing I could do.
What Fairfax and Favour item is your go-to when you go out for dinner?
I absolutely love the Kensington's ankle boots. They are just my favourite. They're really fashionable and easy to wear with jeans and any kind of top.
What is your favourite event?
I think it has to be badminton. Pretty hard to look past that.
Which B is your favourite, bags, boots or belts?
Boots.
Gemma Tattersall, thank you very much for doing our quickfire questions with Fairfax and Favour.